Hello, everyone. What I wanted to talk about today was witchcraft. Yes, we're back in the paranormal. Yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about witchcraft. Just my personal experience with it and just how it's done. And a lot of times, like I said, we are all spiritual beings. We are always emitting some form of energy. That's why sometimes when we touch each other, we shock each other because, we're emitting that energy, and it's all the different pieces to the same puzzle. The energy we're emitting energy. We're constantly emitting vibes, pheromones. We're constantly emitting spiritual energy. And a lot of times with witches, and yes, it's real because in the medieval times, it was the famous the witch hunts that we all know about. I can't quite remember. I think it was called the Salem witch hunts, something like that. But in the medieval ages, they were hunting down witches and killing them. And your thing is that people don't just come up with these things out of the blue. You know what I mean? They don't just randomly say, "Oh, they're a witch." Those people were doing things, abnormal things that people aren't used to seeing, and it scared them. So they went on a witch hunt to kill off all of those things because it was something that they were like, "Oh my God, how are they doing this?" It was one of those things. People don't just come up with these things out of the blue. And anyone can emit spiritual faith, and it's all what separates good and evil when it comes to performing in the art of just use your spiritual power to tap into things, the spiritual realm, and manifest things into the physical. The thing is that it's all on who you're led by. If you're led by an evil spirit to do witchcraft and everything, that's when that kind of stuff comes with a price, and it's usually not good, death or something, because you basically sold your soul to the devil or whatever, and you're performing all of these witchcrafts and stuff like that, and the price just comes with you were being constantly tormented and killed eventually. And then those are the ones that are led by a good spirit, God, so to speak, and they're able to perform things under the authority of God. So the difference is who they're led by, and a lot of times you can sense what a person is being led by because you just feel it, those vibes that they give off. It's like sometimes you can walk past a person and be like, "Ooh," or you can be like, "Oh, what's wrong with them?" You just get negativity. Then it's those people that's like, "Oh, hey, I really like them there," because we're constantly emitting vibes from each other. We can feel it. Sometimes we're talking and we can just like, something would seem like, "Oh, they seem like they had an attitude," or "This person seemed really genuinely happy," and we emit vibes, so you can always tell because it'll be like, man, there's something eerie about this person. They usually even carry themselves and wear certain clothing and pendants and stuff like that. So I'm personally not into that stuff. I'm just well informed, and I know that we have spiritual strong points, which is hands, head, and feet, the soles of the feet, and the mouth, because our words also have power. But anyway, our words carry power. We can speak things into existence. You ever heard people say, "Oh, watch what you say," because what you say can, just watch what you say. And a lot of times people say things not realizing the power of their words. They'll say something like, "Oh, I wish that person," and they end up cursing a person, or they end up speaking bad things into their own life, like, "Oh man, I'm never gonna be successful." Don't say that, because you get what you say. They say you get whatever wish for, even though you don't wish for that, but you saying that, that. So that's why they say that. And then another thing, now that we have that established, people that are really spiritually strong, whether they're led by evil or led by good, they can perform things because the spirit realm has no bounds, and anything physical was first in the spiritual, and our physical things got manifested in they were spiritual and got manifested into the physical. Like ideas, like a lot of things, like I said, the things that are built around us, houses, it all started with an idea, and ideas are of the spirit realm. So the idea came first, and then it got manifested into the physical. So anyways, as I was saying, so when they perform these things, they tap willingly into the spiritual realm, and then they perform all of these things, and that's how it's done. Now, I've seen both the good and the bad side of it. And the good side, you know, I've seen people led by God to heal people, to just perform all types of like miracles, speak things into people's lives, prophesy things into people, you know. That's the good stuff. And as far as witchcraft and people that are led by evil, they can do all of that too, only under a different spirit, and that one comes with a price, and it's usually not good. And usually those people are tormented. They are tormented. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on my personal encounters with witches. And it was nothing big. I wasn't, you know, floating in the air or anything. It wasn't nothing crazy or serious or anything like that. But when I was in grammar school, maybe first, second, third grade, not quite sure, there was these Spanish girls. They were behind the school performing things on people. And I believe they might have been young in the spirit or whatever. They weren't really strong in what they were doing, so they couldn't really do anything amazing or whatever. And what happened was they were doing this thing to people's hands, and people couldn't control their hands. They were doing this without having any type of control over it. So me, I was young, I knew nothing about this. I was completely oblivious to the whole idea. And I'm like, get out of here. This is fake. Stop playing, guys. You guys are all acting. It's like, no, I'm serious. I'm scared. I wasn't able to move my hands. I'm like, yeah, right. So, you know, I had them do it to me because I wanted to see for myself. I wasn't, you know, I didn't think it was anything, you know, great, you know. So they did that whole thing. They were snapping, you know, next to my ears, doing their little thing or whatever. Then they started doing this. And then, you know, they told me to close my eyes first. So my eyes was closed the whole time. But I heard them snapping or whatever. And so then my hands started doing this. And I immediately got scared because I didn't have any control over my hands. And notice how they were doing this. You know, and the thing is like I said, we have energy here, or we emit energy here in our hands. We touch people, we shock them, we're always emitting energy all over, but our sources where we can emit it comes from the hands. That's why, like, sometimes you may see people touch the forehead or whatever, because the energy can get transmitted from there to there. These are two access points. And you know, and even in movies and stuff, you see people laying down on a 5-point star. The 5-point star, the points represent the points of the, you know, and then people get possessed, you know, and then the Chucky movie and stuff like that. I know people are like, oh, it's just a movie, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times the ideas in movies are from real life. So people don't just dig things out of the butt or out of nowhere, you know. Usually it's inspired by real life events. But anyways, yeah, so I was scared. I couldn't control my hands. I was scared. And the moment I broke out of it, that's when they lost, you know, their control over my hands. So I immediately called my grandma. I'm like, I told her everything that was going on. I was, you know, like, oh my God. And she was like, never do that again. Never let them do that to you again. Never. And I was like, okay. She told me what it was, and that was when I first learned about, you know, she called it black magic, but that was my first time learning. So I was like, wow, you know, I was in shock. Like, I can't believe this really exists and it's really real and everything. And another time was a few years ago. I went to Orlando, Florida with my family. And we were at Millennium Mall, I think it was. I'm not quite sure of that mall in Orlando, but some lady came to me. She kind of looked at me and was like, you know, and then she was like, hey, she was like, would you like me to read your future? And I was like, no, because I'm just like, no, you're not touching me, lady, no. You weirdo. And she was like, just letting me know, like, oh, she can do these things and she can perform all this. She asked me, was I Christian? I was like, oh yeah, I'm Christian or whatever. I told her, yeah, I'm Christian. I believe in God. She's like, well, sometimes God sends people to people, and they're here to just let you know. And I'm like, yeah, and that vibe was coming, that something was off. Like, nah, no, you're not of God. I was just able to tell. And she didn't even want to, she wasn't even asking for money. She didn't even want money. She just wanted to do something to me, like spiritually. She probably, I don't know what it was, but I was not going to let her do it. She was trying to be really convincing, like, oh, God sent me, Then I even asked her, like, well, why are you coming to me out of all the people that I'm with? Because I was with my cousin, my sister, and I'm like, why you're not? Then she looked at them and was like, I don't know, I'm just not getting anything from them. She's like, but you, on the other hand, you're emitting amazing spiritual vibes or something like that. And I'm like, okay. I just kept telling her, no, I don't want this. Get away from me. She's like, you really don't want your future red, do you? I'm like, no. Then she goes away. See, that wasn't nothing serious, but just that moment, I'm just thinking in my head, like, wow, what was that? It was just one of those things, like, what was that? Why me? Like, what did she see in me, It's just one of those things. What was she trying to do? Was she trying to steal my spiritual energy, my spiritual power? And I don't know what it was, but that was some creepy stuff right there. But I didn't let her touch me, though. But anyways, if you guys have any encounters with, just any weird encounters like that where stuff was just defied the laws of reality and physics and science and all of that, and it just happened to you, just let me know in the comment section, and have a nice day, okay?